You might think that scrolling through endless feeds brings joy. That perfect vacation post or that influencer's glow-up is the key to feeling fulfilled. But in the quiet rush of your screen, it's often just a hollow echo, pulling you deeper into comparison's trap. If this hits home amid your daily digital whirl, pause and like this if it stirs something. Subscribe for more unfiltered wisdom, or comment below what drains your peace the most. Feel that subtle frustration building? That knot of envy when someone else's highlight reel dims your own light? It's the starting point. Now picture yourself unrolling an ancient scroll, not of papyrus, but pixels, the scroll of infinite comparison. You sit alone in your dimly lit room, phone in hand, the blue glow casting shadows on the walls. Your thumb glides down, each swipe revealing lives polished to shine, promotions flaunted, bodies sculpted, adventures that mock your routine. You feel it rising, a quiet ache, the whisper that your efforts fall short. Why them and not you? The mind races, replaying what-ifs, fueling a restlessness that steals your breath. Yet in this moment, a stoic clarity emerges. You recognize the illusion. These glimpses aren't truths, but curated fragments, designed to hook your attention, to keep you scrolling in the illusion of connection. Epictetus would nod here. What truly matters lies within your grasp, not in chasing shadows on a screen. You can't control their posts or your feed's endless pull, but you can choose your gaze. Turn inward. Ask, what virtue am I building today? What small act of discipline anchors me? Breathe deep. Release the scroll's weight. In letting go of comparison, you reclaim the present. Your path, uncompared, unfolds with quiet power. What one feed will you curate for your own growth tomorrow? You step away from the glow, heart still racing from that endless scroll, the comparisons lingering like smoke in your mind. You might chase more likes or follows to fill the void, thinking validation comes from the outside rush. But in truth, it's your inner world that demands shaping, a deliberate craft amid the digital storm. That unease? It's your cue to reclaim control, not surrender to the feed's chaos. Picture yourself at dawn, coffee steaming, phone unlocked, not in habit, but intention. You feel the pull, the urge to dive into the noise, but you pause. What if you curated this reality, not as a follower, but a guardian of your peace? You scroll with purpose, unfollowing the voices that stir envy or doubt, those polished lives that once hooked you. A colleague's constant triumphs? Gone. Endless news cycles breeding anxiety? Muted. In their place, you seek anchors, accounts sharing quiet wisdom, nature's calm, or skills that build your own strength. The mind resists at first. What if you miss out? But as you practice, a shift unfolds. You discover the Stoic art of selection. Epictetus reminds you, externals like algorithms aren't yours to command, but your attention is. You choose inputs that nourish virtue, resilience in a story of perseverance, clarity from a mindful breath. Hours later, surrounded by friends at dinner, you notice their subtle envy of your focused calm, while you savor the unfiltered now, free from the phantom pressures. This curation isn't perfection, it's daily discipline. In shaping your digital temple, you honor what endures, your capacity for presence, unswayed by the world's curated illusions. Tomorrow, what one choice will fortify your inner sanctuary? You wake to notifications buzzing, storm of opinions crashing in, friends sharing articles that mirror your frustrations about the world, algorithms feeding you more of the same. That rush of agreement feels like solidarity at first, but soon it hardens into certainty, leaving no room for doubt. The frustration creeps in when reality bites back, a conversation at work turning tense as your unyielding stance clashes with a colleague's fresh angle, widening the gap instead of bridging it. Picture yourself deeper in the echo chamber, walls closing in like a digital coliseum. You scroll through threads that amplify your beliefs, outrage over politics, wellness trends that confirm your choices, each like an echo bouncing back louder, drowning out the whispers of complexity. Your mind clings, Resisting the discomfort of contrary voices. Why engage when it all feels so right? But in the quiet after, unease stirs. What if this cocoon blinds you, turning wisdom into willful ignorance? Here, the Stoic path reveals itself. Marcus Aurelius urged examining impressions with reason, not reflex. You practice detachment. Seek out that opposing view, not to argue, but to understand. Read the article from the other side. Note where it challenges without shattering you. At lunch with family, you listen more, their puzzled glances softening as your questions invite shared ground. The tension eases. Curiosity blooms where bias once ruled. This breaking free isn't easy. It's the discipline of open eyes. In questioning the echo, you cultivate true resilience, grounded in the full light of truth. What one contrary perspective will you explore today to strengthen your clarity? You emerge from that tentative step into the unknown, a single, contrary article still echoing in your thoughts, but now the floodgates creak open, endless sources clamoring, each voice pulling in a different direction. The frustration mounts. How do you sift through this torrent without losing your footing? At a team meeting, your once narrow certainty now wavers as diverse inputs clash, leaving you drained, questioning if broader knowledge just breeds confusion rather than clarity. Picture yourself in the heart of the digital bazaar, screens alight with a mosaic of perspectives, not a chaotic jumble, but a deliberate gathering. You feel the weight of choice pressing in, the mind tempted to retreat to familiar shores. Why embrace the discord when simplicity calls? Yet as you linger, a Stoic insight unfolds. True wisdom isn't in hoarding agreement, but in harmonizing variety with discernment. Seneca spoke of using externals as tools, not tyrants. Apply that here, selecting diverse streams to temper your judgments, not overwhelm them. You practice with resolve. Set limits. One news outlet from the left, one from the right, a global lens on local issues. During your commute, you absorb a podcast challenging your assumptions on tech's role in society, noting the sparks of understanding without defensiveness. Later, over coffee with a neighbor whose views diverge sharply, you find common threads emerging. Her surprise at your openness softens the usual divide, revealing shared humanity beneath the noise. The tension dissolves into growth. Curiosity becomes your compass. This art demands vigilance, a quiet curation of the mind's library. In weaving diverse threads, you forge unshakable virtue, resilient against the overload's sway. What varied source will you welcome next to enrich your inner balance? Your phone vibrates again. The insistent ping slicing through the fragile quiet of your morning routine. Another alert. Another demand on your fractured focus. The frustration builds like a slow tide. You meant to savor that first sip of coffee, to let your thoughts settle, but now your mind scatters, chasing the lure of urgency. At the office, it escalates, a cascade of messages pulling you from the task at hand, leaving deadlines unmet and conversations half-formed. Your coworker's raised eyebrow a silent judgment on your divided presence. Picture yourself ensnared in the web of notifications, each chime a tiny tyrant commanding your gaze. The air thickens with their invisible pull, your resolve fraying as you glance down instinctively. Why does this feel so essential? The mind rebels against the interruption, yet yields, addicted to the dopamine spark. In that haze, a Stoic awakening stirs. These pings are externals beyond your power, but your response, your attention, is yours alone to guard. Epictetus taught that freedom lies in what you control. Here, it's reclaiming the sovereignty of your hours from the device's grasp. You begin the practice, deliberate and firm. Silence the alerts, carve out sacred windows, 30 minutes undistracted, phone face down. Resistance surges. What if you miss something vital? But as the day unfolds, clarity sharpens. During a walk with your partner, no buzz intrudes. Their relieved smile meets your undivided eyes, the moment deepening in unhurried flow. Breakthrough arrives quietly, a return to intentional living amid the digital din. This liberation from tyranny fosters inner strength, turning potential chaos into chosen calm. In mastering your interruptions, you embody resilience, one silenced chime at a time. What boundary will you set today to protect your focus? You build on that first taste of silence, notifications tamed, yet the world still tugs. Ads flickering in the corner of your eye, a tab left open promising quick distraction. The emotional pull intensifies during a quiet evening read. Your mind drifts, lured by the phantom itch to check just one more thing, leaving the book's wisdom half-grasped, frustration simmering as productivity slips away like sand. Picture yourself reclaiming the throne of your attention, not as a passive guard, but an active sovereign in the realm of your day. The room quiets, but inner currents swirl. Thoughts of unfinished emails battling the urge for deeper reflection. Why fragment what could be whole? Resistance flares. The habit of multitasking feels productive, yet yields shallow results. In this forge, the Stoic flame tempers you. Attention, as Zeno envisioned, is the soul's direction toward virtue, a choice to align with what endures over the ephemeral. You dive into the practice, eyes steady. Anchor your focus. Before opening an app, pause and name your intent. Research for growth, not escape. Set a timer for single-task immersion. 20 minutes on a project, no diversions. The mind protests, wandering to social feeds, but you gently redirect, breathing into the present pull. At a family gathering, your sustained gaze on their stories draws them closer. No phone in hand, their animated gestures met with your full presence, mending a quiet rift born of past absences. Discovery dawns. This sovereignty amplifies connections, turning fleeting moments into lasting bonds. Wielding attention like a compass, you navigate overload with grace, cultivating wisdom that outlasts the noise. What singular focus will you claim right now to honor your inner rule? You craft that post with care, bearing a slice of your real self, a candid shot of your messy desk, caption laced with vulnerability about a tough week. It garners likes and hearts, a fleeting warmth, but afterward, emptiness lingers, the high fading into doubt. Why does this ritual of revelation feel scripted, leaving you more exposed than empowered? In a group chat with friends, their polished responses clash with your unspoken ache, highlighting the gap between shared facades and genuine connection. Picture yourself on stage in the digital theater, lights of approval glaring, the audience of followers waiting for your next act of authenticity. Your fingers hover over the keyboard, mind swirling with attention. Is this raw truth, or just another performance to affirm your worth? Resistance builds, the urge to conform to trends of oversharing, to chase the validation that Stoicism deems illusory. But in the hush before hitting send, revelation stirs. True authenticity blooms from within, untethered to external gaze, as Marcus Aurelius pondered the soul's quiet integrity over public display. You embrace the shift, practicing restraint. Journal privately first, letting thoughts settle without the filter of likes. Share only what serves growth, not spectacle. The mind questions, will silence isolate you? Yet, as days pass, freedom emerges. At a casual meetup, your unadorned presence, free from the need to broadcast, draws deeper exchanges. A friend's tentative openness mirrors yours, dissolving superficial barriers into real rapport. Discovery settles. This is authenticity's quiet power, rooted in self-approval. Forgoing the performance, you nurture virtue that needs no applause, resilient in solitude or company. What unshared truth will you honor today to deepen your inner truth? You hold back that raw admission, the one about your lingering doubts on career choices, fingers frozen on the screen before deleting the draft. The emotional weight presses. Vulnerability feels like a risk, a crack in the armor that invites judgment or pity, especially in the amplified echo of social feeds. Frustration boils as you witness others, bold shares, raw grief or quiet triumphs, sparking waves of support, while your silence breeds isolation. A chasm in the conversation with a close friend who senses your guarded layers. Picture yourself at the threshold of true exposure, the digital veil thinning like mist before dawn. Heart-pounding, you question the cost. Will owning your frailties invite scorn or strength? The mind recoils, armored in self-preservation, but a stoic courage awakens. Seneca knew fear as the thief of action. Facing it head-on forges the unyielding spirit, not for applause, but alignment with your honest self amid technology's relentless scrutiny. You summon the resolve, stepping forward. Post that unpolished reflection, not for likes, but release, detaching from the inevitable responses. Resistance whispers of regret, yet you persist, journaling the act to ground it in personal truth. Days later, in a video call with siblings, your shared story of setbacks invites their halting confessions. Their widened eyes shift from surprise to solidarity, weaving tighter bonds once strained by unspoken fears. Breakthrough hums. Vulnerability, practiced boldly, dissolves barriers, revealing shared resilience. This courage isn't bravado, it's the quiet virtue of living authentically, unchained from digital judgments. In embracing your truths, you build acceptance that withstands any storm. What hidden vulnerability will you voice today to liberate your spirit? You stare at the screen, tweaking that work email for the 10th time, words blurring as the cursor blinks accusingly. The anxiety coils tight. One misspelling, one awkward phrase, and the whole impression crumbles. Colleagues will judge, opportunities slip. In the digital glare, where every post or project feels eternally archived, this pursuit of flawlessness drains you, turning simple tasks into exhausting battles. A missed deadline at home amplifies it. Your partner's patient nod hides their weariness from your endless revisions, the gap between intent and action widening. Picture yourself chained to the altar of perfection, the glow of your device casting long shadows over unfinished dreams. The mind races, questioning every choice. Is this version worthy, or just another failure in disguise? Resistance grips hard. The cultural drumbeat of best from influencers, seamless lives, feeding the fear that imperfection equals defeat. Yet, in the strain, a Stoic truth pierces through. Epictetus distinguished between what we control, our efforts and attitudes, and the rest, urging progress as the true measure, not unattainable ideals that breed only torment in an overloaded world. You test the release, committing to good enough. Draft that report without endless polish. Hit send, owning the human touch. Doubts swarm, but you counter with reflection. What virtue did this action serve? At the next team huddle, your candid update on a rough prototype sparks collaboration. A teammate's encouraging lean-in transforms hesitation into momentum, bridging the isolation of solitary striving. Insight lands softly. Imperfection invites growth, shared and real. Shedding perfection's yoke, you embrace the resilience of steady advancement, free from anxiety's chains. What imperfect step will you take today to move forward with grace? You release that imperfect email. Heart thudding as it wings into the void. No final proofread to shield you from potential slips. The aftermath hits hard. A reply arrives with a gentle correction, stirring a flush of embarrassment amid the digital permanence, where flaws linger far beyond the moment. Frustration surges. Why risk this exposure when control feels safer? Yet, in the quiet review, an emotional tug pulls. Imperfection isn't the enemy, but a teacher, challenging the illusion that flawlessness shields us from life's raw edges, especially in technology's unblinking archive. Picture yourself wandering a garden of half-formed ideas, weeds of doubt tangling your steps, the sun filtering through imperfect leaves. The mind probes deeper. What if these blemishes hold the soil for true growth? Resistance clings. The digital world's curated ideals mock your stumbles, urging retreat to polished safety. But a Stoic wisdom unfolds, resonant and ancient. Seneca viewed errors not as chains, but invitations to refine the soul through humble correction, turning digital missteps into stepping stones for enduring virtue over fleeting approval. You lean into the practice, unflinching. Share a raw sketch on your creative feed, glitches and all, inviting honest input over adulation. Thoughts whirl. Will it repel or reveal? As feedback trickles in, constructive nudges from online peers, their thoughtful engagements surprise you, evolving your work collaboratively. In a brainstorming session with collaborators, your admitted rough edges encourage their own candor. The group's energy shifts from rigid critique to fluid innovation, misunderstandings melting into mutual progress. Discovery roots deep. Imperfection, embraced, sparks collective wisdom. This path cultivates acceptance of your full humanity, resilient against the overload's demands for flawlessness. In honoring your edges, you unlock a peace that perfection could never grant. What imperfect creation will you offer today to invite deeper understanding? You hit post on that thoughtful update, a glimpse into your evening routine, then the wait begins. Every minute stretching as you refresh, pulse quickening with each unchanged count. The emotional low crashes when notifications stay silent, a void that questions your worth, turning what should be a simple share into a craving. Frustration peaks in the mirror of your screen, where others' instant acclaim highlights your isolation, straining a call with a sibling whose casual check-in meets your distracted responses. Picture yourself ensnared in the siren's call of validation, the digital nectar dripping from hearts and comments, luring you back for another hit. The mind fixates, resisting the pull. Why tether joy to strangers, fleeting nods? Tension builds like a gathering storm, the addiction feeding on the high of approval, only to leave emptiness in its wake. Yet, amid the haze, a Stoic revelation breaks through. True contentment roots in self-mastery, as Epictetus affirmed, indifferent to the external judgments that technology amplifies into chains. You confront it head-on, forging the break. Mute the metrics. Post without peaking for hours, redirecting the urge to affirm your own effort instead. Doubts clamor. Does it matter if unseen? But persistence yields ground. Walking with a friend, phone stowed, your open laughter invites their unguarded stories. A mutual ease blooms, free from the shadow of performative worth. Discovery settles. Validation from within sustains, unbidden by the feed's whims. This detachment builds unshakable virtue, resilient against the pull of addiction's illusions. In choosing your own measure, you reclaim a peace no light can grant. What internal affirmation will you seek today to loosen the grip? You affirm that quiet achievement alone, the one you poured heart into without fanfare, a home project mended, a habit broken, yet the void nags, the digital world's applause still haunting like a distant echo. The decision weighs heavy. Lean into this inner nod, or slip back to the chase for external thumbs up. Emotional strain tightens during a coffee with a mentor, their polished successes contrasting your uncelebrated path, leaving you questioning if self-praise suffices in a culture wired for public metrics. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast inner chamber, walls etched with your unshared victories, the light of self-approval flickering softly against the clamor outside. The mind grapples, resisting the solitude. Why trust your judgment when likes offer instant proof? Tension coils, curiosity sparking. What if this freedom unshackles you from the overload's demands? In the depths, a Stoic liberation emerges. Marcus Aurelius championed the inner citadel, where approval springs from alignment with reason and virtue, not the volatile winds of others, opinions amplified by screens. You cultivate it deliberately, a daily rite. At day's end, list 3 efforts honored by your standards alone. No metrics, just honest reckoning. Doubts surface. Is it arrogance, ignoring feedback? Yet, practice deepens resolve. In a community workshop, your grounded contributions draw nods from participants. Their engaged focus mirrors your quiet confidence, easing past rivalries into collaborative flow. Breakthrough whispers. Self-approval fuels authentic presence, untainted by the feed's fleeting judgments. This inner freedom forges wisdom rooted in personal truth, resilient to technology's validation traps. In granting yourself this grace, you discover control that no algorithm can touch. What self-acknowledged win will you celebrate today to anchor your freedom? You scroll through the feed late at night, a flurry of birthday wishes and emojis flooding in from distant acquaintances, each one a pixelated pat on the back. But as the screen dims, loneliness sharpens like a hidden blade. These connections feel thin, a veneer over the ache of unmet eyes and unspoken depths. Frustration simmers during a hurried lunch with a longtime friend. Your phone lights up with group chats, pulling you away. His subtle withdrawal a mirror to the shallow exchanges that crowd out the real. Picture yourself adrift in a sea of virtual threads, lifelines that tangle rather than tether, the illusion shimmering under the device's false warmth. The mind stirs uneasily. Why do these instant replies substitute for presence, yet leave you emptier? Resistance rises against the convenience, the ease of liking without listening, following without knowing. In this digital tide, a Stoic clarity surfaces. Genuine bonds form through shared virtue and deliberate presence, as Seneca warned against mistaking familiarity for friendship, urging discernment amid technology's counterfeit intimacies. You act on it, pruning the superficial. Unfollow the casual ties that drain without depth. Schedule unplugged time, a walk, a call without screens. Questions linger. What if true connection demands effort? Yet, commitment reveals rewards. At a neighborhood gathering, your focused attention on neighbors' tales draws them nearer. A once distant couple's warm clasp signals the shift from polite nods to budding trust. Insight blooms. Real ties thrive in the tangible, beyond the glow. Dispelling the illusion, you nurture acceptance of solitude's lessons, resilient in choosing quality over quantity. In prioritizing presence, you control the heart of connection. What offline moment will you create today to ground your bonds? You set the phone aside during that promised call, voice bridging the miles to a cherished friend, but midway, the itch returns. Texts piling up, a news alert flashing silently. The frustration mounts. Why can't this simple exchange hold without the digital undercurrent pulling you under? Emotional layers thicken as the conversation falters, her pauses stretching with your divided mind, the potential for depth dissolving into superficial check-ins that leave you both adrift. Picture yourself fully anchored in the now, the room alive with unspoken energies, no screen to mediate the raw exchange. The mind wrestles. What if presence uncovers vulnerabilities we'd hide behind filters? Resistance surges, the habit of quick replies over lingering silences, the overload promising more connections in less time. Yet in this deliberate stillness, a Stoic essence reveals itself. Presence is the exercise of virtue in action, as Epictetus taught, directing your will toward the immediate duty of attentive being, transforming fleeting moments into profound reality beyond technology's shallow veil. You commit to it, eyes meeting the world's unmediated gaze. In daily rituals, a meal shared without devices, breaths synced in quiet listening, you redirect wandering thoughts, questioning distractions, false urgency. Tension eases into curiosity. At a park bench with your child, your undivided wonder at their discoveries elicits their wide-eyed reciprocity. The usual hurried distractions fade, replaced by a bond forged in unhurried joy, misunderstandings yielding to intuitive understanding. Revelation dawns, true presence enriches unburdened by the virtual. Embracing this reality, you wield control over the present's gifts, nurturing wisdom that outshines any feed. In being here, fully, you honor human resilience's quiet core. What present interaction will you deepen today without interruption? You thumb through the feed during a rare quiet moment, bombarded by vignettes of flawless routines, exotic travels, gourmet meals, bodies honed to ideal, each one a silent demand to elevate your own ordinary days. The pressure builds like an invisible weight, Why isn't your life as seamless, as enviable? Frustration edges into self-doubt, a tough choice looming. Keep chasing that polished exterior, or risk falling behind in the endless race. At a family dinner, your subdued sharing pales against a relative's vibrant updates, their animated recounting underscoring your private struggles, widening the emotional rift. Picture yourself amid a gallery of borrowed dreams, mirrors reflecting not truth, but carefully staged reflections that distort your own path. The mind churns, resisting the allure. Why measure against these edited illusions when your reality pulses with unshown grit? Tension simmers, curiosity flickering. What if this pressure dissolves when you reclaim your narrative? In the core, a Stoic wisdom ignites. Live by nature's design, as Zeno advised, embracing the full spectrum of your experiences, joys and labors alike, over the hollow pursuit of curated facades that technology peddles as norm. You initiate the turn inward, auditing your day for genuine progress, a kind act, a learned lesson, untouched by filters. Doubts press. Will authenticity suffice in this visual world? But resolve holds. In a casual outing with colleagues, your honest recount of a recent hurdle invites their similar confessions. The group's posture shifts from competitive postures to supportive nods, fostering unexpected camaraderie. Revelation stirs. Your uncurated life holds the real vitality. Releasing this pressure, you affirm acceptance of your unique journey, resilient in the face of overload's distortions. In owning your story, you gain wisdom that no highlight reel can match. What aspect of your day will you value today, uncompared? You savor that small victory from yesterday, the unpolished conversation that sparked real laughter, yet the scroll tempts again, resurfacing those envy-tinged glimpses of others. A sense, stirring a restless what-if. The emotional pull tugs. Commit to your winding path, or detour toward their streamlined highs. Frustration lingers in the choice, a modern bind where technology spotlights every milestone but your own steady steps, leaving quieter progress, feeling inadequate amid the highlight haze. Picture yourself traversing a personal trail, leaves crunching underfoot, the horizon your own making. Not a race against distant peaks, but a mindful tread through valleys and views unique to you. The mind questions the detour's lure. Why envy roots unseen when yours builds character in the climb? Resistance fades as curiosity takes hold. What joys hide in this unshared terrain? Here, Stoic contentment awakens. Embrace your fate with gratitude, as Marcus Aurelius reflected, finding serenity in the journey's essence, efforts and evolutions, over arrivals dictated by digital envy, freeing you from overload's comparative chains. You weave it into habit, evening reviews, celebrating incremental gains, a skill honed, a patience tested, affirmed without screens. Doubts whisper of missed shortcuts, but you press on. During a hike with companions, your reflective pauses invite their stories of similar trails. The group's rhythm syncs, conflicts of pace resolving into harmonious strides, breakthroughs in mutual appreciation. Insight settles. Your journey's rhythm holds inherent worth. This contentment roots in acceptance of your unfolding life, resilient against curated distractions. In cherishing your steps, you claim virtue's quiet reward. What part of your path will you appreciate today fully? You settle into your evening unwind, intending a quick video, but the algorithm unfolds an endless reel, clips on trends, tips, tales that blur into one another, hours vanishing like mist. The frustration crests, tasks unfinished, mind muddled, a hollow fatigue settling as the content's siren pull overrides your original spark of curiosity. During a planned reading session, the phone's glow wins out again. Your spouse's gentle nudge toward the book goes unnoticed, their quiet retreat highlighting how this infinity scatters your focus, eroding shared stillness. Picture yourself lost in a boundless library, shelves groaning under tomes that multiply before your eyes, each page promising enlightenment, yet delivering only diffusion. The mind recoils, questioning the bargain. Why surrender clarity to this deluge when discernment calls? Resistance battles the ease, the thrill of novelty masking the cost to depth. In the swirl, a Stoic anchor holds. True flourishing demands selective attention to what aligns with virtue, as Seneca prescribed measuring time's worth, rejecting the excess that overwhelms the soul in technology's vast expanse, reclaiming space for reflection over endless consumption. You counter with intention, rationing intake, one curated source per interest, then close the door. Thoughts protest the limits, fearing boredom's void, but discipline reveals layers. At a creative workshop with peers, your sharpened insights from focused prep stand out. Their intrigued glances replace scattered chatter, sparking a collective breakthrough in ideas once drowned by overload. Discovery emerges. Finite choices amplify the meaningful. Navigating this distraction, you exercise control over your mental garden, cultivating wisdom amid the flood. In choosing less, you embrace resilience's selective grace. What one content boundary will you draw today to reclaim your depth? You draw that boundary, limiting the feed to a single hour, yet within it, the streams diverge. News flashes, viral debates, niche hobbies vying for your gaze, each claiming relevance in the overload. The frustration sharpens. How to pierce the noise without scattering again. A difficult sift emerges during a work project. The influx of tangential articles derails your momentum, leaving a colleague's confusion at your fragmented input, the shared task stalling amid your mental drift. Picture yourself sifting a riverbed for gold, hands steady amid the current, discarding silt to reveal nuggets of enduring value. The mind probes. Why cling to the ephemeral when core truths, kindness, justice, growth, anchor the soul? Resistance stirs against the habit of broad sweeps, the allure of knowing it all, but curiosity builds. What if focus on essentials illuminates the rest? In this stream, a Stoic precision takes form. Attend only to what cultivates virtue, as Musonius Rufus emphasized simple, necessary knowledge over excess, honing the intellect against technology's dilutive flood, transforming information into inner strength. You refine the art daily. Curate ruthlessly. Pose the question before engaging. Does this truth serve my character? Absorb a philosophy excerpt on resilience, then pause, applying it forthwith. Doubts challenge. Is selectivity arrogance? Yet, integration brings clarity. In a discussion circle with acquaintances, your pointed insights on shared challenges cut through fluff. Their attentive shifts from diversion to depth signal a collective pivot, resolving prior tangents into purposeful exchange. Revelation unfolds. Essentials forge connection and progress. This focus empowers control over the deluge, weaving wisdom from necessity's thread. In seeking the vital, you embody resilience's discerning heart. What essential truth will you pursue today to sharpen your sight? You glance at the invite notifications piling up. Parties, webinars, flash sales. Each one a whisper that your evening at home means forfeiting something vital, the world spinning on without you. The fear grips tight. What opportunities slip away in this quiet choice? Frustration boils as you debate scrolling versus stepping out. The emotional toll mounting when a work acquaintance's live story from the event stings, their joy amplifying your isolation, a subtle strain in tomorrow's casual hello. Picture yourself at a crossroads in the digital night, paths branching into unseen adventures, the pull of potential tugging like unseen currents. The mind races, questioning the cost. Why fear absence when presence elsewhere might yield nothing true? Resistance flares against the habit, the endless previews fueling anxiety, technology's tease of abundance masking emptiness. In this fork, a Stoic resolve emerges. Confront FOMO as illusion, for as Epictetus discerned, we command only our responses, not the world's turns. Embrace what's yours now, rejecting the phantom losses that overload scatters the spirit. You choose the anchor, powering down to savor the overlooked, a book under lamplight, breaths in stillness. Doubts circle. Are you truly missing out, or just the hype? Yet, surrender brings peace. Over breakfast with housemates, your refreshed energy draws their open curiosity. The usual rushed silences give way to unhurried shares, mending overlooked bonds in the morning light. Insight crystallizes. Opting in to the immediate uncovers hidden fullness. This fear, transcended, restores control to your choices, weaving virtue from deliberate absence. In fearing less, you uncover resilience's hidden gifts. What present choice will you fully inhabit today, free from the unseen? You step fully into that chosen evening, book in hand, the world's buzz silenced at last. Yet a flicker of regret stirs. What stories, what sparks might pass you by in this calm? The emotional edge lingers. Savor this solitude, or yield to the pull of endless updates. Frustration from earlier FOMO echoes, a modern tug between the infinite out there and the tangible here, testing your resolve amid technology's siren whispers. Picture yourself immersed in the unfolding present, senses alive to the page's turn, the room's soft hush enveloping you like a gentle tide. The mind wanders at first, questioning the trade. Why forego the thrill of elsewhere when joy seems boundless online? Resistance tugs, the habit of scanning for more, the overload's promise of perpetual excitement. But curiosity blooms. What if true delight hides in this unadorned now? In the deepening quiet, a stoic joy arises. Seize the moment as it is, for as Seneca urged, happiness flows from full engagement with the immediate, not divided pursuits. In digital age, this presence reclaims life's vivid core, turning potential voids into profound fulfillment. You nurture it through ritual, anchor breaths before each activity, naming the sensations, the ink's scent, the chair's support. Doubts fade as immersion takes hold. During a sunset stroll with a neighbor, your attentive steps mirror their unhurried gait. Their surprised openness unfolds in shared observations, easing past routine nods into a genuine spark of companionship, conflicts of haste dissolving into harmonious flow. Revelation warms. Presence multiplies joy's quiet ripples. This joy, cultivated, grants control over time's fleeting gifts, embodying virtue in every attended breath. Indwelling here, you reveal resilience's joyful essence. What simple now will you embrace today to ignite your inner light? You dive into the comment thread, a heated clash over a hot-button issue, your fingers flying as righteous fury surges. Why can't they see the obvious, the injustice? The anger flares hot, heart pounding, sleep evading as the back and forth loops in your mind, turning a minor post into a draining obsession. Frustration peaks the next day. A coworker's offhand remark on the topic ignites the same spark, their defensive posture mirroring the online standoff, escalating a simple chat into unnecessary tension. Picture yourself in the arena of digital words, shields of opinions clashing under the relentless glow, each retort a spark that feeds the blaze. The mind boils, questioning the value, while at strangers barbs pierce your calm when discourse promises understanding. Resistance mounts, the instinct to fire back, to win at all costs, technology's echo amplifying the rage into a cycle of unrest. In this fury's grip, a stoic steadiness emerges. Anger arises from unchecked impressions, as Seneca dissected, but equanimity lies in pausing to judge truly, responding with reason over reaction, guarding your tranquility against the overload's provocative storms. You halt the spiral, breathing deep before typing, or not. Reflect. What virtue does outrage serve here? Scroll away, journal the core issue sans venom. Doubts nag. Is restraint weakness? Yet, application tempers. In a family debate later, your measured words invite their thoughts. The air shifts from confrontation to curiosity, their softening expressions bridging the divide once fueled by haste. Insight dawns. Calm discourse builds bridges, not battles. Taming this anger, you reclaim control of your inner realm, fostering wisdom that withstands provocation's tide. In choosing peace over passion, you reveal resilience's enduring fire. What triggering thread will you approach with composure today? You exhale after that measured pause, the thread's storm receding, but another erupts nearby. A viral spat on ethics that tugs at your sense of justice, the urge to weigh in bubbling up like familiar heat. The decision hangs. Dive back into the fray for clarity, or let it pass. Emotional residue clings from the prior clash, frustration whispering that silence equals complicity, while engagement risks renewed turmoil in this ceaseless digital forum. Picture yourself at the gate of discourse, key in hand, the clamor beyond a mix of clamor and counterfeit, voices sharp, intentions veiled by screens. The mind deliberates. Why exhaust on every call when discernment offers respite? Resistance pulls toward involvement, the illusion of influence strong in technology's arena, but curiosity stirs. What peace lies in withdrawal's wisdom? Here, a Stoic serenity unfolds. Select battles that align with your principles, as Marcus Aurelius counseled, judging what merits response, preserving inner harmony against overload's incessant provocations, turning potential rage into purposeful reserve. You adopt the filter, scanning briefly. Does this advance virtue, or merely stir discord? Engage sparingly, a thoughtful note, then exit. Doubts murmur of irrelevance, yet practice yields calm. At a community forum offline, your chosen words on a local issue draw focused replies. Participants lean in, the usual heated drifts giving way to constructive nods, misunderstandings clarifying into shared resolve. Insight arrives gently. Selective voice amplifies impact, unmarred by noise. This piece secures control over your spirit's responses, nurturing wisdom in thoughtful silence. In engaging wisely, you uphold virtue's resilient balance. What discourse will you weigh carefully today to safeguard your tranquility? You refresh the profile, eyes fixed on the climbing numbers, followers edging up, views ticking higher. Yet the satisfaction sours quickly, a fleeting spike chased by doubt. Is this enough, or just not yet? The frustration gnaws during a creative block. You tweak posts for more engagement, delaying real work, while a collaborator's praise rings hollow against the screen's cold tally, their shared excitement dimmed by your metric fixation, straining the collaboration's flow. Picture yourself weighing scales of sand, grains shifting illusions of balance, the wind scattering them before any true measure holds. The mind confronts the trap. Why hinge worth on these vanishing counts when they sway beyond your grasp? Resistance clings. The digital cult of quantification, promising proof of impact. Technology's lure turning vanity into vice amid overload's endless audit. In this deception's mirror, a Stoic truth gleams. Metrics are externals, empty of inherent value, as Epictetus proclaimed. True merit resides in actions aligned with virtue, indifferent to applause's echo, liberating you from the soul-eroding pursuit of numerical ghosts. You sever the tie, hiding stats, judging output by personal standards. Did this idea spark growth, foster good? Doubts assail. Will obscurity undermine you? Yet, detachment frees. In a mentorship session, your unburdened feedback resonates deeply. The mentee's grateful focus sharpens, past superficial nods evolving into meaningful exchange, conflicts of validation yielding to authentic progress. Revelation strikes. Vanity's veil lifts, revealing substance's quiet power. Shedding metrics. Vanity, you seize control of inner worth, cultivating wisdom unswayed by shadows. In valuing deeds over digits, you embody resilience's steadfast core. What action will you assess by virtue alone today? You turn from the hidden numbers, the post's reception a blur, centering on the intention behind your words. A genuine outreach, not a bid for acclaim. Yet, the emotional undercurrent stirs. Without visible returns, does this effort truly advance you? Frustration simmers in a stalled group project. Your subtle contributions feel overlooked. A teammate's impatience clashing with your quiet persistence. the disconnect breeding doubt about unseen labors, worth in a metrics-driven haze. Picture yourself tending an inner garden, soil rich with unseen efforts, seeds of patience sown daily, roots delving deep beyond surface glances. The mind wrestles. Why undervalue these hidden expansions when they nourish the whole? Resistance lingers. The digital world's glare on quantifiable wins tempts comparison. Technology's tally overshadowing subtle shifts amid overload's distractions. But in this quiet cultivation, a Stoic depth reveals itself. Growth's true worth blooms internally, as Seneca observed in virtue's silent progress, measuring success by character refined, not echoes of approval, freeing you to invest in the self over superficial scores. You track it mindfully, noting daily increments, a mended habit, a kinder response, logged privately for your eyes. Doubts question isolation, yet embodiment transforms. During a volunteer shift with locals, your steady encouragement on overlooked tasks inspires their initiative. The team's energy unites, past fragmented efforts coalescing into communal success, revelations shared in relieved smiles. Discovery takes root, inner growth yields lasting fruit. Prioritizing this value, you command your evolution's pace, instilling wisdom that metrics can't capture. In nurturing the core, you affirm resilience's profound harvest. What inner step will you honor today, unseen yet vital? You rush through the morning, emails pinging as you gulp coffee, the day's agenda fracturing under a barrage of updates, work slacks, social alerts, endless threads demanding instant replies. The frustration mounts. One overlooked detail cascades into a missed deadline, leaving you breathless, the emotional whirl of haste turning focus into frenzy. In a hurried meeting, your skimmed notes falter, a team member's puzzled glance highlighting the rift, their steady preparation contrasting your scattered rush, amplifying the isolation in this accelerated blur. Picture yourself caught in a whirlwind of pixels and prompts, the clock's hands blurring as life's essence slips through frantic fingers. The mind strains, questioning the frenzy. Why accelerate when depth eludes the swift? Resistance surges, the digital mandate for speed, technology's illusion of productivity masking exhaustion amid overload's torrent. In this gale, a Stoic calm surfaces. Time's true use lies in measured steps, as Marcus Aurelius urged deliberate reflection over rash motion, reclaiming hours for wisdom's cultivation, not the chase of fleeting responses that erode the soul's quiet rhythm. You introduce the break, scheduling pauses. 10 minutes of unhurried breath before tasks, reviewing actions with intent. Doubts rush in. Will slowing invite lag? Yet, integration steadies. During a collaborative review, your thoughtful input anchors the discussion. Colleagues, nods deepen, the prior haste yielding to aligned progress, misunderstandings clarifying in the unpressured exchange. Insight anchors, pace invites profundity. This speed, tempered, restores control to your days, fostering virtue and intentional flow. In slowing, you embrace resilience's enduring stride. What moment will you extend today, savoring its full measure? You reclaim that paused breath, the day's rhythm easing from sprint to stroll, yet a pressing email demands swift reply, the old urgency clawing back. Handle it now, or risk falling behind. The emotional challenge surfaces. Balance this deliberate pace with life's insistent demands. Frustration rising as unchecked inboxes mock your newfound calm, turning potential harmony into inner conflict during a shared lunch, where your delayed check-in frustrates a friend's timeline. Picture yourself diving beneath the surface rush, waters clear and profound, where haste dissolves into deliberate exploration of the depths below. The mind contemplates, why skim when immersion reveals layers unseen? Resistance whispers of inefficiency, the digital world's velocity equating speed with success, technology's pace eroding contemplation amid overload's rush. But in this submersion a Stoic profundity arises. Mindful living enriches through attentive presence, as Epictetus taught aligning actions with reasoned choice, not reflex. This depth tempers the superficial, forging unhurried wisdom that withstands the era's frantic currents. You embody it fully, responding only after reflection. Weigh the email's essence, craft with care, then release. Doubts surge. Does thoroughness isolate you? Yet, cultivation deepens. In a joint planning session with partners, your considered suggestions ground the flurry. Their initial impatience softens to engaged collaboration. Erratic ideas coalescing into refined strategy. Breakthroughs emerging from the thoughtful space. Revelation surfaces. Depth uncovers shared clarity. This mindful depth secures control over intention, weaving virtue into every measured act. In living fully attuned, you embody resilience's profound anchor. What rushed task will you deepen with presence today? You catch yourself mid-scroll, a peer's promotion announcement glowing on screen, their effortless climb mocking your stalled efforts. Why them, with their seamless wins, while your path twists through unseen hurdles? The emotional sting bites deep. Redouble your grind to catch up, or let this inadequacy fester. Frustration clouds a casual catch-up with a friend. Your probing questions about their success reveal guarded replies, the unspoken envy straining the easy rapport once shared. Picture yourself ensnared in a hall of mirrors, each reflection a distorted echo of lives unlived, pulling you from your center into endless chase. The mind reels, questioning the snare. Why borrow discontent from half-seen stories when they obscure as much as they show? Resistance builds, the digital parade's siren call to measure and mimic, technology's flood-breeding perpetual shortfall amid overload's glare. In this reflective tangle, a stoic liberation dawns. Comparison dilutes your resolve. Attend instead to your duties alone, as Seneca advised, scorning the visible while honing the invisible self, cultivating contentment through personal excellence, not envious shadows. You disrupt the cycle, closing tabs to journal your strides, a skill refined, a fear faced, unlinked to others, yardsticks. Doubts clamor. Does isolation breed mediocrity? Yet, redirection empowers. In a networking event, your genuine interest in a contact's journey shifts focus inward. Their reciprocal warmth flows freely, past competitive posturing into mutual inspiration, barriers crumbling into collaborative insight. Revelation clears. Your orbit suffices. Escaping this trap, you hold the reins of self-assessment, nurturing wisdom in solitary virtue. In releasing others, gaze, you find acceptance's steady ground. What personal gain will you affirm today, uncompared? You affirm that solitary stride forward. The journal's page is filled with your unmirrored milestones, yet a whisper of doubt creeps in. Why persist on this less trodden route when smoother trails beckon online? The emotional crossroads sharpens. Double down on your distinct course, or veer toward the crowd's proven paths. Frustration stirs in a reflective walk with a sibling. Your tales of unconventional choices meet their tentative concern, the familiar bond testing against unspoken worries of divergence in a world that prizes conformity. Picture yourself charting a solitary river, currents carving a unique bend through ancient stone, untouched by neighboring streams, rush. The mind explores. Why doubt this singular flow when it shapes you alone? Resistance lingers, the digital mosaic of standard successes urging assimilation. Technologies showcase blurring individual essence amid overload's uniform tide. In this personal waterway, a Stoic singularity shines. Honor your allotted nature, as Epictetus framed roles as irreplaceable, thriving in your sphere's duties without envy of others. This uniqueness fueling authentic virtue over borrowed blueprints. You honor it actively, mapping your path's markers. What talents bloom here? What lessons this bend teaches? Doubts query conformity's safety, yet devotion illuminates. In a hobby circle, your offbeat approach to a shared craft sparks intrigue. Members, initial hesitation evolves to eager adaptation, the group's creativity surging, prior rigid patterns fracturing into innovative harmony. Insight flows. Your uniqueness enriches all. Celebrating this path, you master your narrative's course, instilling wisdom in tailored resilience. In walking yours alone, you grasp acceptance's singular strength. What unique trait will you lean into today, undeterred? You skim the endless comments on a simple update, voices clashing, praise turning to critique in a flurry of unsolicited takes, each one chipping at your quiet satisfaction. The frustration swells. Sift through for truth, or let the barrage dictate your mood. Emotional static hums as you debate sharing more, the overload of judgments turning vulnerability into wariness. At a casual coffee with a colleague, their offhand view on your idea echoes the online din, their furrowed brow stirring defensiveness, the exchange tilting from collaboration to guarded standoff. Picture yourself amid a crowded marketplace of whispers, tongues wagging in every direction, the din drowning your inner voice in a haze of borrowed certainties. The mind strains, questioning the clamor. Why absorb this cacophony when it fractures focus? Resistance rises, the digital chorus promising insight, yet delivering only division. Technology's amplification breeding doubt amid the unfiltered storm. In this verbal tempest, a stoic clarity cuts through. Opinions or externals, shadows on the wall, anchor in your reasoned discernment, as Epictetus warned against letting others' breaths sway your soul, preserving autonomy against overload's opinionated gale. You filter deliberately, pausing to ask, does this view align with virtue or mere noise? Dismiss the rest, affirming your core stance. Doubt's echo is solitude from consensus wise. Yet, discernment sharpens. In a team brainstorm later, your unswayed perspective steadies the group. Colleagues, initial pushback eases to thoughtful integration, erratic voices harmonizing into focused resolve. Insight quiets the storm. Your judgment suffices. Navigating this noise, you wield control over conviction, cultivating wisdom in selective silence. In trusting yourself, you embody resilience's unyielding core. What opinion will you evaluate alone today for inner peace? You retreat from the fading echoes of that filtered feed, the clamor subdued, yet a deeper unease stirs. Without the chorus, how do you navigate your choices alone? The decision weighs. Trust this quiet counsel, or crave the crowd's echo for reassurance. Emotional vulnerability surfaces in a solo reflection. The silence amplifies doubts, turning the absence of input into a stark mirror. Frustration yielding to the raw edge of self-reliance amid technology's opinionated void. Picture yourself in a vast inner chamber, walls of stone muffling the outer world's roar, a single flame illuminating thoughts long buried under the din. The mind quiets, questioning the void. Why fear solitude when it uncovers truths untainted by others' agendas? Resistance tugs, the digital habit of constant affirmation. Overload's barrage-breeding fear of unaided judgment. Yet, in this hush, a stoic serenity blooms. Inner wisdom thrives in silence's forge, as Marcus Aurelius practiced daily self-scrutiny, distilling virtue from personal insight alone, shielding the soul from the superficial sway of external voices that distort resolve. You cultivate it deliberately, carving silent hours. Sit with a dilemma, let thoughts unfold without seeking scrolls or shares. Doubt's whisper of isolation's echo, yet immersion reveals nuance. In a guiding conversation with a mentee, your pondered advice cuts through their confusion. Their wide-eyed clarity emerges, past reactive suggestions into self-directed understanding, the bond strengthening in mutual introspection. Revelation settles. Silence speaks volumes. This inner wisdom grants control over your compass, nurturing virtue in unborrowed light. In embracing quiet, you unveil resilience's profound voice. What silent question will you ponder today to sharpen your truth? You spot the inflammatory tweet in your feed, a quick jab at something you hold dear, and the heat rises instantly. Fingers itching to clap back, words forming sharp and unfiltered. The frustration grips. Fire off now to defend your ground, or hold back and let it fester. Emotional surge clouds judgment, the dilemma turning a passing remark into a personal affront, as the pull of instant reply overrides reason in this always-on arena. Picture yourself at the spark's edge, flame leaping from casual tinder, ready to consume the calm you've built. The mind surges, questioning the reflex. Why yield to this knee-jerk fire when it scorches your peace? Resistance flares, the digital world's rhythm of rapid retorts, technology's design fueling knee-jerk exchanges amid overload's ceaseless bait. In this heated brink, a Stoic pause ignites. Impulses are first impressions, raw and unchecked. True power lies in assent or rejection, as Epictetus illuminated the art of deliberate response, transforming reactivity's chaos into virtue's composed action, safeguarding your equanimity from the web's provocative traps. You interpose the breath, counting to 10. Is this worth the unrest? Redirect to a walk, energy channeled into clarity. Doubts rush. Does delay weaken your stand? Yet, intention prevails. In an evening discussion with roommates, your tempered view diffuses rising tempers. Their bristled edges soften to curious probes. The volatile air settling into insightful turns. Conflicts yielding to nuanced understanding. Revelation tempers. Restraint forges strength. Curbing this impulse, you command your reactions, weaving wisdom from paused reflection. In choosing response over reflex, you claim resilience's steady flame. What trigger will you meet with a breath today? Reclaiming your calm. You build on that counted breath. The tweet's sting fading into memory. Yet another alert buzzes, a critique in your inbox, the knee-jerk urge to rebut rising like a reflex tide. The decision tightens. Reply in haste to clear the air, or delve deeper into the why. Emotional undercurrents swirl, frustration from past slips urging caution. The overload's immediacy tempting snap judgments that leave regrets in their wake, turning potential clarity into clouded fallout. Picture yourself seated by a still pond, ripples from a dropped stone spreading slow and deliberate, each wave revealing patterns beneath the surface's haste. The mind settles, questioning the rush. Why act on surface sparks when reflection uncovers roots? Resistance pulls, the digital pulse demanding instant motion, technology's speed equating pause with defeat amid ceaseless pings. In this mirrored calm, a Stoic potency awakens. Reflection is the soul's forge, as Marcus Aurelius journaled nightly, examining motives to align with virtue, transmuting raw impulses into thoughtful deeds that endure, shielding against the era's reactive frenzy. You engage it routinely post-trigger. Note the feeling, trace its source, envision outcomes before words form. Doubts assail. Does dwelling stall action? Yet, practice empowers. In a project huddle with associates, your reviewed input resolves a brewing impasse. Their furrowed doubts ease to affirming gestures, disjointed plans converging in unified vision, past reactive clashes into harmonious advance. Insight mirrors back. Reflection illuminates paths. Harnessing this power, you govern your inner forge, instilling wisdom through examined steps. In reflecting, you claim resilience's deliberate light. What impulse will you mirror today, forging response from depth? You agonize over the next profile update, cropping out the chaos of your unmade bed, choosing words that paint resilience amid burnout. Anything to align the feed's facade with who you wish others saw. The frustration crests. This digital shell demands constant upkeep, draining energy from the real you, turning self-expression into exhausting performance. In a virtual meetup with peers, your polished avatar hides the weariness, their admiring nods feeling hollow against your inner strain, the gap widening into isolation. Picture yourself layered in a mosaic of screens, each pixel a fragment piece to impress, the weight pressing until the true self buckles beneath the artifice. The mind grapples, questioning the load. Why bear this constructed yoke when it estranges you from authenticity? Resistance clings, the allure of curated approval, technology's mirror inflating ego amid overload's judgmental gaze. In this fragile veneer, a Stoic unburdening reveals itself. Identity's essence is internal character, as Seneca proclaimed virtue the sole true self. Release the external mask, embracing the unadorned soul that endures beyond fleeting likes. Liberating from the digital ego's relentless siege. You lighten the load, posting sparingly or not at all, redirecting to offline pursuits. A walk unrecorded, joys unshared. Doubts murmur, will invisibility erase you? Yet, freedom flows. At an impromptu gathering with friends, your unguarded stories draw them close. Their relaxed laughter echoes back your ease, superficial chats evolving into deep confidences, barriers dissolving in shared reality. Insight lifts the veil, authenticity eases all. Shedding this burden, you reclaim control of your core, fostering wisdom in unfeigned existence. In Living Unveiled, you embody resilience's raw truth. What digital layer will you peel away today for lighter steps? You step unmasked into the day's light, the deleted drafts and muted profiles leaving a strange expanse. Now, how do you show up raw in a world wired for filters? The emotional shift challenges. Embrace this unpolished you, or retreat to safe personas. Frustration lingers in the vulnerability, a dilemma where authenticity invites scrutiny, yet the pull toward genuine presence tugs stronger amid technology's performative pull, turning hidden truths into a courageous stand. Picture yourself shedding layered veils in a sunlit grove, skin-breathing free air for the first time, the weight gone but the exposure thrilling and raw. The mind probes. Why hide the full spectrum when it defines your strength? Resistance whispers of rejection, the digital norm of perfection, breeding fear of unedited flaws. Yet, in this unveiling, a Stoic liberty flourishes. Authenticity is nature's call, as Zeno envisioned harmony with one's true essence. Live it unbound by external scripts, finding freedom in virtue's honest expression, unencumbered by overload's contrived identities that stifle the soul. You live it outwardly, sharing unvarnished thoughts in real exchanges, a candid admission at work, no emojis to soften edges. Doubts surface. Will honesty alienate? Yet, embodiment attracts. In a neighborhood circle, your open recount of doubts invites their unguarded shares. The group's guarded shells crack, superficial pleasantries blooming into trusting dialogues, old divides bridging invulnerable unity. Discovery dawns. Truth connects deeply. This freedom anchors control in your truest form, nurturing wisdom through lived integrity. In being you, fully, you unleash resilience's boundless spirit. What authentic act will you offer today, unchained? You juggle tabs mid-conversation, phone in one hand, email in the other, the afternoon dissolving into disjointed snippets. 5 minutes here on a report, 10 lost to a video, the whole slipping away unfinished. The frustration boils. Reclaim this splintered day, or surrender to the pull of constant switches. Emotional exhaustion creeps in, the dilemma highlighting how these fractures leave you hollow. A planned family call cut short by a pop-up, your siblings' patient wait turning to strained silence, the connection fraying in the divided moment. Picture yourself holding a mosaic of hours, pieces shattering under digital hammers, each alert a crack, scattering the whole into irretrievable shards. The mind wrestles, questioning the theft. Why fragment what could cohere when undivided time builds lasting works? Resistance fights the lure, the illusion of multitasking's gain, technology's interruptions promising efficiency, yet yielding only scatter amid overload's relentless chop. In this broken pattern, a Stoic wholeness emerges. Time, life's true wealth, demands wholeness, as Seneca lamented its waste in trifles. Guard it fiercely, investing in single pursuits that yield depth, restoring continuity to the soul fragmented by ceaseless diversions. You enforce boundaries, designating undivided blocks, an hour of focused creation, device aside, reclaiming flow. Doubts swirl. Does isolation from updates lag you behind? Yet, commitment restores. During a collaborative session with colleagues, Your sustained concentration on one thread unravels a knot. Their scattered contributions align under your steady lead. Initial chaos coalescing into efficient breakthrough. The team's rhythm sinking in shared purpose. Insight reassembles. Unity amplifies all. Mending this fragmentation, you seize control of your hours, cultivating wisdom in undivided intent. In wholeness, you affirm resilience's unbroken thread. What single task will you immerse in today, unfractured? You complete that focused hour, the task flowing whole at last, yet the evening branches, family duties pulling one way, a lingering work email another, the unified effort fracturing into competing calls. The frustration resurfaces. Prioritize one path amid the pull, or spread thin across all, risking shallow results. Emotional fatigue sets in, the dilemma underscoring how divided aims dilute your drive. A quick text exchange with your partner trailing off as your attention splits, their subtle disappointment mirroring your own scattered intent. Picture yourself as a single river channeling toward the sea, waters converging in purposeful current, not meandering brooks lost in separate bends. The mind delves. Why splinter your will when convergence amplifies force? Resistance stirs. The digital array of options, technology's buffet of pursuits breeding indecision amid overload's diversions. In this flowing unity, a Stoic coherence awakens. Purpose unifies time's fragments into meaningful whole, as Epictetus stressed acting from clear intent. Align every step to virtue's aim, forging life's efforts into seamless progression that withstands the era's dispersive winds. You declare it clearly, naming your core aim for the day. Nurture relationships, say, routing choices through its lens. That email waits, the call takes precedence. Doubts tug, does narrowing exclude chances? Yet, alignment streamlines. In a planning meet with collaborators, your singular focus on shared goals streamlines debate. Their wavering inputs steady, disjointed agendas merging into streamlined strategy, initial stalls breaking into energized accord. Revelation converges, unity propels. This purpose binds time's pieces, granting control through directed will, weaving wisdom in focused flow. In one aim, you hold resilience's unified stream. What central purpose will you channel today? Undivided. You collapse into the evening chair, phone clutched like a lifeline, yet the thumb scrolls endlessly. News ticks, friend circles, work pings piling in a relentless stream, each one siphoning a bit more of your spark. The frustration peaks. Unplug now and risk missing the vital, or keep feeding the beast until burnout claims the day. Emotional drain seeps in, the dilemma exposing how this vigilance leaves you spent. A half-hearted dinner chat with your spouse fading as your eyes dart to the glow, their patient gaze turning to quiet withdrawal. The intimacy chipped away by invisible demands. Picture yourself as a vessel leaking through 1,000 sieves, essence pouring out in drips to every chime, the core hollowing under the unceasing pour. The mind wearies, questioning the toll. Why squander vitality on ephemeral feeds when renewal beckons in repose? Resistance clings, the digital creed of staying in the loop, technology's siren of immediacy masking depletion amid overload's voracious appetite. In this ebbing flow, a Stoic restoration stirs. Guard your energy as life's sacred fire, as Seneca urged selective engagement over exhaustive chase. Conserve for pursuits of virtue, turning the tide from reactive drain to intentional reserve that sustains the spirit's flame. You impose the embargo, silencing alerts for sacred intervals, evenings unplugged, pursuits savored whole. Doubts whisper of disconnection's peril, yet renewal surges. In a book club with acquaintances, your rested presence enlivens the exchange. Their weary nods brighten to animated contributions. The usual distracted drifts unifying in engaged discovery, lulls blooming into profound connections. Insight revives, rest rekindles all, alleviating this exhaustion. You master your energy's flow, cultivating wisdom in chosen silences. In withdrawing wisely, you secure resilience's enduring vigor. What update stream will you dam today to refill your well? You savor the first unpinged morning, coffee in hand without the habitual reach for the screen. Yet the itch persists, a phantom vibration urging you to check, to stay tethered. The decision looms. Extend this fast into the day, risking the essential updates or cave to the familiar hum. Emotional unease bubbles, the dilemma revealing how disconnection unearths buried restlessness, turning the quiet into a confrontational mirror where a walk alone amplifies thoughts long drowned in digital noise, your stride hesitant amid the unfiltered now. Picture yourself emerging from a shadowed cave into dawn's unblinking light, eyes adjusting to the vastness, the clamor left behind revealing inner landscapes long obscured. The mind stirs restlessly, questioning the void. Why dread this abstinence when it restores what frenzy stole? Resistance pulls the digital world's illusion of necessity, technology's constant feed breeding fear of lag amid overload's addictive grip. In this luminous break, a stoic rejuvenation kindles. Fasting digital vines clears space for self-reckoning, as Seneca practiced retreats to reclaim the spirit. This deliberate withdrawal renews virtue's garden, pruning distractions to let clarity bloom, transforming exhaustion into empowered repose. You commit deeper, declaring device-free zones, meals unscrolling, evenings wandering, doubts clamor, disseverance isolate you. Yet, revival dawns. In a casual picnic with neighbors, your attentive immersion sparks their stories. Their distracted glances shift to present warmth, fragmented chats weaving into heartfelt bonds, lulls flowering into shared revelations. Insight refreshes, absence amplifies presence. This renewal hands you dominion over your vitality, sowing wisdom in intentional voids. In fasting from the flood, you nurture resilience's fresh spring. What digital habit will you fast from today to awaken your core? You trim the apps down to essentials, just a few for work and connection. Yet the void yawns wider, the silence amplifying a nagging pull to fill it with more tabs, more feeds, the simplification feeling like loss rather than gain. The frustration sharpens. Pare further into isolation, or reinstate the noise to feel complete. Emotional unease rises, the dilemma unmasking how less digital space exposes the cluttered mind beneath. A quiet afternoon alone turning restless as unchecked thoughts swarm. Your attempt at peace unraveling into subtle discontent. Picture yourself lightening a heavy pack on a steep trail, shedding layers that once seemed vital, only to discover the freedom quickens your step, revealing vistas hidden by the load. The mind puzzles over the twist. Why does scarcity breed abundance, restraint unlock plenty? Resistance nags. The digital abundance syndrome. Technology's promise of more equating to better amid overload's deceptive fullness. In this paired paradox, a Stoic revelation unfolds. Minimalism's true wealth lies in deliberate choice, as Epictetus taught distinguishing needs from desires. By curbing excess, you reclaim time and focus for virtue's pursuits, inverting scarcity into profound sufficiency that revitalizes the weary soul. You test it resolutely, enforcing one app, hours, navigation for a stroll, leaving the rest dormant. Doubts murmur of missed opportunities, yet clarity emerges. At a local meetup with acquaintances, your undivided attention fosters genuine exchanges. Their fragmented inputs deepen under your steady presence, superficial small talk evolving into meaningful insights, tensions easing into collaborative warmth. Discovery inverts, less yields more. This paradox empowers control through subtraction, cultivating wisdom in intentional voids. In embracing less, you uncover resilience's hidden bounty. What digital excess will you release today to invite true abundance? You nurture that pared-down screen, the few connections humming with intent, yet a wave of isolation laps. Why limit to these when the network sprawls wide, promising endless ties? The emotional crossroads presses, deepen a handful of bonds, or chase the shallow sprawl for a sense of belonging. Frustration simmers in the choice, the dilemma exposing how superficial links exhaust while true ones elude. A group message chain fizzling as your selective presence draws sporadic replies, the once bustling thread thinning into echoes of superficiality. Picture yourself tending a small hearth fire, flames steady and warm against the vast cold beyond, each log placed with care to sustain the glow over frantic kindling. The mind weighs the balance. Why dilute warmth in endless embers when focus kindles enduring light? Resistance tugs, the digital expanse's allure of vast circles, technology's illusion of quantity breeding fleeting attachments amid overload's shallow streams. In this contained blaze, a stoic endurance ignites. Sustainable bonds root in virtue's soil, as Seneca reflected on friendships tested by time. Cultivate few with depth and reciprocity, yielding resilient ties that nourish without depleting the spirit, inverting breadth into profound kinship. You refine it purposefully, initiating voice calls over texts, investing in 3 key relationships weekly. Doubts query the sparsity, yet cultivation thrives. In a dedicated coffee with a close ally, your unhurried listening uncovers their layers. The encounter shifts from polite check-ins to vital support, their tentative openness mirroring your own, evolving routine into fortified alliance. Revelation kindles, depth endures. This stoicism secures control in chosen circles, weaving wisdom from intentional intimacy. In sustaining few, you embrace resilience's warm core. What bond will you deepen today, unspread thin?